Andres Ramirez, and today we'll be talking about what it's like to be a realtor.
So, what are some common misconceptions about your profession?
The most common misconception about being a realtor is that it's all like glitz and glamour. People think because we can be well paid if we get a good commission check. They think we're just receiving that all the time. A big factor, obviously, there's tons of realtors out there. I'm sure people watching this know a couple. So there is a lot of competition, and it's also about trying to convince people to trust you in that big transaction. You know what I mean? So if they're going to be selling their house or selling their condo, or even just leasing a place, it's at the end of the day, you're looking at their documentation, you're finding out about their personal life, you're looking at their finances. So convincing those people to trust you and believe in you to find their place is tougher than people think. It's not just like, hey, yeah, just hire me kind of thing. No, it's almost like getting into a new relationship with somebody. It's like you want to be sure about it before you do it.
So, why did you get into this business?
The reason, it's funny that the way I got into real estate, because I was actually throwing events, like let's say parties when I was younger, when I was like 19, and a buddy of mine, Jordan, he always wanted to take the next level, right, of doing these events and inviting all these people and obviously making money and this and that. So he always said, okay, let's start doing an event once a month, and then let's start doing it every 2 weeks. Let's do it here, let's do it there. And then he said, we should get our real estate licenses. So it's kind of funny how he convinced me to get my real estate license, and here I am today, still networking as much as I used to, finding different ways to kind of connect people with my small business frenzy and other ways, and ever since then I just fell in love with it. Finding people, helping people get to their goals, which can be a home, could be a home to buy, could be a home to rent. Getting them into a better situation is a true satisfaction.
What are some of the behind the scenes actions and day to day from a real estate agent?
To be honest, real estate is not really what people think. If you ask any of your friends or family members who are real estate agents, it's always something different in a good way, and that also can be a bad thing, right? Because like real estate can just hit you with the right hook and you just don't know what to do, or you kind of go into like a panic mode, but you gotta obviously always stay calm and try to figure out the situation as quickly and efficiently as possible. But I think because of the deadlines and the magnitude of like how much this can affect somebody, it takes a lot of concentration, and yeah, it's basically a 24-hour job if you really think about it.
What are some of the negative things that happen, like difficulties that you have to deal with in the business?
Some of the negative things, I guess some of the things that people don't really take into consider about real estate is that you can get a phone call at any time. Some clients try to call you during work hours, more like a 9 to 5 thing. I would say most clients call you between 9 to 9, but the thing is that you gotta understand that people, when they get home from work or whatever, especially if they have kids, they're busy, they're making dinner, they're prepping the kids for bed. Most people, or most clients, to be honest with you, don't look at like listings or things like that until after 7, 8, 9 p.m. So they could be calling me at 10 or 11 or maybe even sometimes midnight, or texting me or emailing me like, hey, sorry for the late email, sorry for the late message. What do you think of this house? Can we see it tomorrow? The difficulty is finding that balance between accommodating people and finding that personal space for yourself. So you kind of have to respect both and be honest with people. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges in real estate, because obviously you want to help the person as quickly and efficiently as you can, as you possibly can, but at the same time you do have to try to kind of balance your personal mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. You want to be available but not be taken advantage.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, what are some of the positives? What do you like about this industry?
Some of the positives is that because usually I work, let's say my average work day is like 10 to 8 kind of thing, but obviously there's like breaks in between. So I'm available I try to do, showings are usually till 9 p.m. That people allow them. So it kind of leaves that space of like freedom. So it's flexible in a way, your schedule, but not necessarily fully 100% flexible. So like say if I have like a 2-hour break, I could go catch a lunch with another client or a friend or whoever, or I could pass by, visit a family member in between. There is that like freedom of time, I guess you could say, that is kind of good. And at the end of the day, if you have other realtors working on your team, there is flexibility in terms of vacation or time you need off, etc., etc. But my buddy had a joke that realtors only work a couple hours a day, which some might, don't get me wrong. But I explained to him that maybe like an average job is a 9 to 5, but a realtor could be called at any time. You know what I mean? Like you could be your pajamas at home, and someone might want to write an offer. And before like COVID, maybe if they wanted to write the offer in person or meet you in person, you might have to get up and go meet with them at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, maybe like in the late hours, right? So it's a give and take. I think the most positive thing is the flexibility on like the scheduling. That would be probably the best thing for me.
So it almost sounds like the flexibility can be like a double-edged sword. Like
Exactly.
it's good because you can organize your day, but at the same time, because you're flexible, there's no the setting boundaries for the work schedule is kind of difficult.
Exactly, yeah.
What are some things that you wish you knew before starting this profession? Almost like something that you would advise somebody that's even thinking about getting into this industry?
I think the most important thing you need when you start in this business is a good mentor, because the schooling teaches you, I guess you can say, like the statistics about real estate or the facts about real estate, but it doesn't really prepare you for like the actual being out in the field. Like it's very hands-on. You kind of learn as you go, like in real estate. Like the schooling can only prepare you so much, and then like once you're in the field, you're out in the ocean with the sharks. Like that's it. Like you gotta survive on your own. Pretty much is to keep it blunt. I wish somebody would have told me that having a good mentor, an available mentor, someone who's gonna have the patience to teach you, someone who's gonna answer the phone at almost like any time, you know, as much as they can. I think that was the key thing that I was lacking the first couple of years that I was in real estate, and I kind of, and also like don't be shy to ask questions. I think that's at the beginning I was too shy, you know, and I felt bad that I didn't know things. But real estate is one of those professions where there's so many factors of it. It's anything could happen, and you can learn the most craziest random thing on any given day. So getting a mentor from the beginning is crucial in having a successful real estate career.
Any final advice?
My final advice for anyone that wants to become a real estate agent is to do your research. Make sure you understand all the fees and things you got to pay just to be an agent a year. And you got to fully understand that you could become a real estate agent today, but you might not have your first client for another month or a couple weeks or months. So whether that be a lease, let's say you became an agent today and you got a lease client in 2 weeks, you found them a place within 2 weeks, they might not move for another month. So if they don't move for another month, you don't get paid for a week or two after that. So in total, that time span could be 2 to 3 months if you find that client between that time. If they're buying or selling, the closing won't happen for usually around 2 to 4 months. Let's say 3 on average is what it is, 2 to 3. So you kind of have to make sure you have enough foundation financially before you get into this business, because one, it's not guaranteed, and two, to get paid like for certain commissions can take a lot of time. And make sure you're gonna put in the work in terms of the marketing, networking with people. How I explain it is you're basically an entrepreneur, small business starting up, right? So there's never enough, like you can't never say that there's nothing to do. There's always something you can do. It's just a matter if you want to do it, right? So I think it's important to obviously keep, you know, new ideas, new strategies flowing, you know, stay honest with yourself in terms of how much work you're doing, how much you're putting into it. What you put into it is what you're going to get out of it, just like anything, right? So I kind of compare it to like an athlete who's training for the Olympics. If they're only training 4 or 5 hours a day and their coach says that usually they should train 6, 7, you know, if they don't get the result they wanted, then probably that's because of that, right? So it's important to look at every day with a fresh mind and just keep going at it. And there you have it. That's what it's like to be a realtor. If you have any more questions, feel free to DM me at andres.therealtor. I'll be happy to help.